Gongsun Long. He is close in ways to Zhuangzi, my favorite Chinese philosopher, the second Taoist after Lao Tzu, following Hui Shi and his 10 paradoxes, which we discussed. He was famous at debate like Gautama of India and Aristotle of Greece, and he hated the terrible state of language used in deception and lies by different warring parties. Gongsun Long stayed with the aristocrat Ping Yuan of Zhao, where he met Kong Xuan, a Confucian, who offered to study with him if he renounced the white horse argument, which is his most famous. Gongsun Long says that he is known for the white horse is not a horse argument, which he is still. Gongsun tells this aristocrat the king of Chu lost his bow on a hunt, but when his servants offered to search and find it, the king nobly said that a man of Chu had lost a bow, and that a man of Chu would find it, meaning as long as someone of his kingdom found and used it, things are as fine as they are. So Confucius heard this, and he criticized it, saying that the king should have said a man, and not a man of Chu. Gongsun Long asks the Confucian if a man and a man of Chu are not the same thing to Confucius. Are a horse and a white horse the same thing to Confucius? And this guy had no reply, which is brilliant. Gongsun's writings are now lost, but his infamous white horse is not a horse lives on. Many say the argument's faulty and illogical, but if we follow the thinking of the Taoists and Hui Shi, you can see easily that they are quibbling paradoxically like the work of Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland. They are screwing with you with logic, and they know that they're doing that. Consider here that I am my finger, but I'm also not my finger. If you said, hey, come to the party, and I send you my finger, you'd be like, wow, you're a weirdo. A white horse is not simply a horse, and a horse is not simply a white horse. They are different. You would talk about them differently, in context, in situations, concrete. Gongsun Long is showing us in a way there's two types of is. Similarly, ser and estar are two things in Spanish where if I say I am permanently mad, this gets into the Mad Hatter. If I say he is mad, I could mean he's temporarily angry, or I can mean he's permanently angry in that he often spits at people and screams, which means like the Mad Hatter, he is crazy. A white horse is and is not a horse, and you are and are not your finger. Buddha himself, in the long discourses of the Buddha, says to Sita, the elephant trainer, I believe, when you remember yourself in the past, you are that person in the past, in your mind right now, that past person. But if I ask you, but you're not that person anymore, if you use is to mean part of an incorporated thing, like tree is green, then is. But trees are not identical to green. If my car is blue and Batman is blue, then my car is not Batman. Notice how quickly we move through that language. And I imagine the Mayan and Aztec jokes and language work in similar sorts of human ways. What you have is physical practices where sometimes I say to you, that tree is green, you understand exactly what I mean. Is here does not mean that tree is identical to the color green, such that if your car is green, your car is tree. Because you know you cannot use language that way. You feel you cannot use language that way. It does depend on what is. It is demonstrating something in formal logic, like a biconditional is not a conditional. Like the Mad Hatter saying I eat what I see is not the same thing as I see what I eat. Because if I see what I eat, then I open my eyes and I always look at my food. I don't just cram things into my mouth. But if I eat what I see, then I eat the forest, the trees, all the fish, all this land. If I know if A then B, I do not know if B then A. It's true, formally. If something is a white horse, then it is a horse. But if something is a horse, this does not mean it's a white horse, as it could be a black or a yellow horse, as Gongsun Long argues. Gongsun Long's argument is, if I call for a horse, if I call for a beeping truck outside, if I call for a horse, you bring me any color horse, fine. If I call for a white horse, you bring me any kind of horse, no. Therefore, says Gongsun Long, a white horse does not equal a horse. Somebody online a while ago created a comic called The Adventures of Gongsun Long. Episode 1, Gongsun Long in Space. Gongsun Long, how can it be said, a reporter off camera asks him, how can it be said that a dwarf planet is not a planet? And he says a planet can be any size. A planet can be giant or very small. A dwarf planet can only be small. Therefore, one can say that a dwarf planet is not a planet. Next question. Episode 2, Gongsun Long in Love. I love you, Gongsun Long, says his special lady friend. Gongsun Long replies, but it is not real love. And she says, how can you say that? And he says, real love can be for anyone. Do you love that man I saw you with last night? She says, of course not. In fact, you are the only one who has ever made me feel this way. And he says, real love can be for anyone, but apparently the emotion you feel only for me. Therefore, it can be said that it is not real love. She says, do you ever think you will change your mind? He says, maybe, but if my mind changes, is it still my mind?